Hey Cathers, welcome. I'm just gonna make a quick video going over my character in Season 8 of the Sandlord season of TLI. This character is at 15 trillion DPS. I have used it to clear SS21, 3-sorted, 1-shotted, that's on my YouTube. And I've used it to clear 715 city defense. It is a bit over 15 trillion DPS currently, which is why the dragon rank is above 3460. 3460 is the 15 trillion mark, and I do intend on upgrading this build more over time. But I just want to show people what I've done so far, in case they want to copy it, because my guide doesn't go over it very well. So the first thing we're doing is we're just doing generic deck stacking, but on top of doing deck stacking, we are doing mega stacking. So I'm not going to go too much in detail over deck stacking. I think that's very simplistic to understand. The things I'm doing that is interesting is I'm using Continuum to get spell crit rating, and I'm using 10% damage transfer to a random minion. And then with my third talent tree, I'm spec'd into Alchemist. And in Alchemist, I take the sealed mana nodes, the damage transfer, and then the Magus leveling, as well as obviously Source. And what this allows me to do is it gives me just barely enough sealed mana that I can fit in a spell amplification. So if you look over here, you can see sealed mana 2 out of 530. I'm just barely have enough mana with the setup to be able to fit everything in. Then the 3 Maguses that I'm running is the Thunder Magus to give me a cast speed and additional damage. The Fire Magus to give me more base crit. And this is important with the Continuum, as well as Rock Magus to give me additional, minus additional hit damage. Each of these Maguses also are running Protection Field, and I have around 300% Origin effect. So each Magus is transferring 16% of the damage taken to them, like when I take a hit. This Rock Magus is giving me 32% reduced hit damage. I have Deflection through a Kismet, and I have the Talent Point and the Slate, which are both giving me 10% damage transfer, which is 20% damage transfer. Those are the setups that I'm using to get very tanky and defensive. This character is quite tanky. And then, because I have so much base crit, I'm able to run Control Spell, which gives you 100% reduced critical strike rating, and then a lot of additional damage. But if you do not crit, you do no damage. I can run this in this build because we actually have 100% crit rate thanks to the Mega setup. As you can see here, we have 100% crit rate thanks to the Mega setup. And this is being done with only 2 crit rating mods on my rings. Crit on my Euro memories, as well as a single crit roll and a single Origin of Magus effect roll. On top of all of that, we also have Erosion Maguses on our Pack Spirits. And eventually, I intend on getting Micro Kismets with mediums on them, and also adding the Frost Magus. The Frost Magus is also going to give us 3% Magus effect, which means that once I have that, I can actually remove this Origin of Magus effect roll and still be crit capped, which means I can get more crit damage. And I believe in the future I can also drop the spell crit. So that's the setup that I'm running currently to do Mega stacking. That is all my defenses. It's just Mega stacking with Deflection. If you don't know what Deflection is, there's a Kismet called Pendulum, which when you move, it gives you a stack of Deflection. And you can get 3 stacks of this with this Kismet, which is 30% reduced damage taken. So this is another 30% DR on top of everything else I have. Now, I also have a bit of evasion. I could consider running evasion per dex, because we currently have 3000 dex in this build. And that would give me a lot of extra defense, but so far I have not felt like it's needed. I have a hit pool of 1.1k right now, which eventually when I fix my wand to not have minus max life, it's gonna be like even more. And then the way the spell burst aspect of this build works is Searching Inspiration has a chance to give you a stack of spell burst when you use a skill. So what we're doing is we're scaling cast speed and we're using a channeled skill, because when you channel skill, you're constantly using it. You see this as a base cast speed of 3.0. Now we also have like a cast rate of like 6, like 6.5 or something. That is being multiplied with this cast speed, which means that we're like constantly using Path of Flames, triggering it, and then as we're triggering it, we're gaining spell bursts through our Searching Inspiration, and then using the spell burst medium, the burst activation medium, we are activating those spell bursts through our Chain Lightning, which also allows us to use Psychic Burst, which is like very, very strong as a support skill. And then our damage scaling is mostly just deck stacking. There's a few other things we have in here, but like none of them are super important. 90% of the meat and bones is just deck stacking. And yeah, I intend to continue playing this character for a while, and to finish upgrading all my gear to T0, as well as, what do you call it? As well as like getting much better kismets and things. Maybe I'll even play around with my slates and see if I can do something better than this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that shit. And bye! Yeah!